are captured. This was my first experience of him. After that, I didn't see him till he became Prime Minister.
Okay. Is it the same now? Before he travels, after he travels, when you travel? Is it the same kind of thing? Foreign policy matters, you talk to each other, where he asks questions, you answer, you ask questions, he answers. Is that how it works?
No, it is and it isn't. I mean, intrinsically it is the same, but it's now on a totally different scale and league.
Sure.
So now what happens is usually, we would strategize before, we spend, usually I'd say even not at the beginning of the year, but even in the previous year, we start thinking, what should we be doing? Where are we going? Who should we engage? That kind of strategy session. When it comes to something specific, it would be like we would go through the details of where we are going. What are the objectives? Who are we meeting? What are their objectives? So there's a kind of I would say strategizing and a game planning which goes well ahead, and then it's repeatedly visited, reviewed. So sometimes even in the midst of meetings, you would see us, one of us lean across and say something to him, or him doing the same. Or if there's a break in a meeting, we would have a quick confabulation. I mean, you could, since A&I films a lot of this, you would often see, there's a quick huddle where you're quickly saying something, we are updating, or he's sharing. He's,
we can't hear though, because there's no microphone.
Fortunate. Thank God you can't hear, because, that would kind of destroy our strategizing.
We should get somebody to see the lip syncing and see what's happening there.
But he's a very discussive person, if you know what I mean. And he has views, but he's very open to, opinion, agreement, disagreement, improvement, mitigation. It's very sort of, how do I say, interactive.
Lots of people say that he's a very ideas kind of a man. In fact, some of the questions were on YouTube with that. And my team has made a video, which I'm going to show it to you.
I'm part of the East, I'm part of the South, I'm part of the West, I'm universal. I'm India. Someone to say, I'm doing this because it is for counter-terrorism. You're not fooling anybody by saying these things. Mr. Soros is a old, rich, opinionated person. If I could only stop at old, rich and opinionated, I would put it away. But he is old, rich, opinionated and dangerous. Somewhere Europe has to grow out of the mindset that Europe's problems are the world's problems. But the world's problems are not Europe's problems. Our total purchases for the month would be less than what Europe does in an afternoon. I don't think we're sitting on the fence. Just because I don't agree with you doesn't make me sitting on the fence. It means I'm sitting on my ground. I'm entitled to have my own side. I'm entitled to weigh my own interests, make my own choices. You're asking the wrong minister when you say, how long will we do this? Because it is the ministers of Pakistan who will tell you how long Pakistan intends to practice terrorism. If you have snakes in your backyard, you can't expect them to bite only your neighbors. Eventually, they will bite the people who keep them in the backyard. If I were to take Europe collectively, which has been singularly silent on many things which were happening, for example in Asia, you could ask, why would anybody in Asia trust Europe on anything at all? If you are asking me, I would say, yes, 2014 was a watershed moment. Yes, things have changed better after 2014. Yes, our foreign policy has become more dynamic, more effective, more prominent after 2014.
Mr. Modi was very famous and very demanding. So how do you deal with that?
I'm so glad you chose that understated word, demanding. Yes, I think the Prime Minister is demanding. I think he's rightly demanding, because it's time that India had a demanding person as Prime Minister. It's tough to work for a demanding boss, but at the end of the day, you actually, if you feel that's the kind of person the country needs, I think you're willing to